Hey there, everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you all the Skylanders that I ended up purchasing and or just getting in December of 2023. This is going to be the last month of the year, and that being said, we are about 10 days out until I do a complete year-in review collection video, where you'll see both these and all Skylanders that I've both gotten and collected over the last year. That being said, we have a ton of figures to go through today. Today is very core heavy. I'm not sure if I'm going to put something like cores in the title of the video, but if I don't, I want you to put it in the comment section because it's going to be so core centric today. That being said, the first core character we got is actually brand new in box. You can still buy them online. That's right, brand new. Still in their blister packaging. Still even has the plastic attachment attached to the top of the box. The corners are nice and crisp. No folding or anything like that. After over 10 years of being in this box, this figurine has finally been played on. That being said, this figurine is one of the most rarest figures to find with both arms. That being Series 1 Hex. That is part of the reason why I bought her, and part of the reason why I chose to get this figure itself is because I know dang well that you guys ended up breaking your Hex figurines, so I wanted to get one brand new in box. This is one of the original released ones where the Spyro's Adventure logo is protruding out of the packaging. She looks amazing. She has her card, her sticker sheet back there, and she's got the skull, and her robes are flowy. Her figurine looks fantastic. I'm so glad I have a Hex brand new in box. That has both her arms. I have a Series 2 Hex that I'm really happy is still in good condition. But yeah, she is an amazing looking figurine. She looks like she's got some wind blowing underneath her robes there. And she looks fantastic. This figurine looks amazing. So we're going to set her here. And then we are going to essentially review her brethren, her fellow Spyro's Adventure characters. That being said, in the $25 Skylanders lot video, you guys will have seen basically all the figures in today's video, except with a few extras and standouts, especially a certain one that I think will make you all freak out just a tad. That being said, we are going to get started with Drill Sergeant here. Drill Sergeant, this is the Series 1 variant from Spyro's Adventure. I love the pose. He's just a tad on the basic side compared to his Series 2. Essentially, he just has his rivets instead of the like full-on spikes. But yeah, you can tell the artistry in this is amazing. He looks great, and I love his pose. And then next up, we got Zook, one of my favorite Life Element Skylanders, and he's just vibing here. I love his bazooka, but personally, the Series 2 version I think is superior. His stance is very, very interesting. I'm surprised they didn't put his arm up here, like so that way he can hold on to his rocket launcher, because he's gonna, probably lose his balance and fall backwards. He was a lot of fun to go off and play his Series 2 counterpart, and I'm so glad that I can sit and play the Series 1 figure, because he is a lot of fun, even if he doesn't have the Wow Pow. I just love his pose. And then on to the third Spyro's Adventure character, that being Prism Break, probably one of the strongest Spyro's Adventure figurines that you could go off and purchase for the first game. I love his pose, how he's kind of standing on this alleged rock here. The artistry, like I'd said, for Drill Sergeant in this figurine is amazing. He has a little Trap Team bit. You can definitely tell that they took some inspiration from this figurine here. The gradient on his figurine is really cool. I'm very happy with how he looks, and I'm so glad to have Series 1 Prism Break in my collection. And that being the final Spyro's Adventure figure for today, we have Zap. Now, Zap is looking down, which is a bit different. He kind of looks like he's in a charge, and his pose here where his little foot's up, and he kind of looks like he's in a running position, really goes off and emphasizes that this is a fast-moving character, to which, his gameplay really does reflect nicely on his figurine here. He kind of looks like he's riding a wave, but I'm surprised they didn't actually put a wave in front of him to make it look like he is doing his surfing attack, which that would have been really neat. Otherwise, he's just kind of in a weird position. I mean, he's not bad by any means, but he's just, you know, he's got his head down. He's not very presentable unless he's like above you and you can actually see his face. I think the Series 2 figurine definitely is the better of the two to own, simply because it's a lot more displayable, when this one kind of just looks like he's slightly on a sad streak. Now, that being said, we are now going to move on to the Series 2s from Giants. So the first Series 2 figurine that I didn't already have in my collection that I had purchased in the $25 lot was Spyro, and I think Spyro looks a lot better than a Series 1 counterpart does, simply because you can actually see his face. He's got a little bit longer of horns, and he actually has an expression that doesn't make him look as if he's kind of just staring off like blankly into space, although the Series 1 counterpart is a lot more iconic. I am glad to have this guy. And speaking of which, we got Series 2 Terrafin with his big old brass knuckles. I'm not going to touch too much on these guys, the ones that I already covered heavily in the $25 lot video, but I really do like Terrafin. I think Terrafin holds a special place in my heart simply because he was one of the original 8 Skylanders that my friend Sam had gifted to me. And speaking of the original 8 that I had got, we have Series 2 Stealth Elf. Stealth Elf, being one of my favorite Skylanders to this day, was actually my first Skylander way back when, simply because I really just enjoyed playing on her so much. And Sam had given me Series 1 Stealth Elf as a birthday gift whenever I had turned 11. So that was really nice of him. I hope he is doing great. We are still friends to this day. I just have not heard from you. Broski, if you're watching this, please reach out. I miss you, bro. Speaking of which, we also have another Series 2 figurine to look at, that being Gil Grunt. I have a broken Series 2 Gil Grunt in my collection, but now I have a perfectly solid Series 2 Gil Grunt. Pretty neat looking figurine. And now we are getting into the light cores, variants, and others. Now, since I talked heavily on these guys in the $25 lot video, just like with the Series 2s, I'm going to keep it brief with these guys, but I'm still very excited to own these guys. So the first one we got is Light Core Shroom Boom. I love Shroom Boom. He's definitely one of my favorite cores from Giants. So I am glad to have his little light core version. And then we got Pop Fizz, probably one of the most expensive light core figurines that's actually in my collection. Very glad to own him. He's in a neat little pose. I'm honestly surprised they didn't make this one the core figure and make the other one the light core. I mean, that would have been pretty neat. And then we got Eruptor. I do like Eruptor, even if he is a tad on the weak side. And I'm glad to have him in my collection. And my Eruptor, luckily, glows really bright. And that being said, these are the normal cores. Now moving on to the legendaries. But before we move completely past light cores, we need to talk about legendary light core Chill. Now, just like the other light cores, I had went off and talked about her in my $25 lot video, so go watch that, just if you guys want to hear a lot about these. But she is a very neat little figurine. She definitely needs to be dusted. Her base has seen a lot of dust, it would seem. And then we also have Legendary Series 2 Igniter. Shout out to Ignite the Fire. You made me want to get this guy so much, and because Igniter is just a really neat figure to like hold in your hand. He's pretty cool looking, and I'm glad to own him. And I'm very glad to own the Legendary Series 2 Stealth Elf. She's a pretty dang cool looking figure. And one of my favorites, Legendary Jetvac. I love Jetvac, even though he's not too strong. I think he has a really neat design, and I think he looks amazing with the gold and black paint job. That being said, now we will move on to the variants in whole. That being the first one, Molten Hot Dog. And just like the other guys, if you want to hear more about him, you know where to go. He looks really interesting with his like orangish red paws going up into the yellow and the like little spikes coming out of his head. I think that's pretty neat. And then we also have the Jade version of Flashwing. Flashwing is a character that I don't really care much for, but she is a pretty neat looking variant. Here with Jade Flashwing. I think it's more the fact that her playstyle is just not for me, but I do know many people that actually enjoy her quite a lot, and I do like her Light Core counterpart as well as her Jade counterpart. I think that's One of the definite reasons why she was so popular is because of her actual aesthetic, and her design is just peak. All right, and now moving on to Swamp Force with the Series 3 version of Chop Chop. This was a guy that I wanted to get my hands on for a little while. He's got some different like shoulder armor with the spikes up here. Still no pants. Poor guy has to be censored every time I want to talk about him. And he's got some neat looking swords with some very jagged edges. I would not want to be caught on the end of that. Could you imagine that thing tearing into your flesh as he swipes it across your body? Ugh. Not a fun time for anyone who's on the edge of Chop Chop's sword. Now on to a story. This is going to be a full-on story simply because it kind of sucked what happened. I ordered a Jolly Bumble Blast, and, you know, it was going to be Christmas time. He came after Christmas, but that's against the fact. I ordered him brand new in box, just like Hex over here. Luckily, my Hex came undamaged and brand new in box. She looks amazing. But unfortunately for Bumble Blast, his box was completely destroyed. There was no salvaging it. It was downright terrible. The poor guy didn't even come with a sticker sheet. He came with his card, which is currently sitting in a box at the moment. And at least his figurine is mostly unscathed. But his poor box, oh my goodness. I don't know what the people at Amazon are attempting to do with these poor figurines, but it kind of looked like somebody got a little bit too bat happy while they were packaging my figurine here. And now, a moment you guys have been waiting for, the final two Skylanders to finish off my Trap Team collection. I will now have every single Skylander, at least a version of every single Skylander, all the way up to Trap Team. That being, one of the last ones I needed was Fling Kong. I had actually completely forgot that this dude existed. I was sitting on the couch one day thinking, who's the other Trap Team core other than Blades? And then I'm like, and then I'm like, Whirlwind. I'm like, Whirlwind's from Spyro's Adventure. Then I'm like, it's Fling Kong. Oh my gosh, how did I forget about Fling Kong? Because I don't know. He just slipped my memory. And I had went off and ordered him. I got him for about $18 plus shipping, which kind of stinks for a character that, you know, retailed for $10. And I had seen a lot when I was a kid. But this little dude is pretty neat. He's got some interesting tricks, and he has a very interesting design here with the carpet flowing. That being said, he's a lot more rare than you would actually go off and think, and people run a lot of money for this guy. But if you want to talk about expensive cores, we got Echo. We got Echo. Running nearly $200 in some cases, I got her for $80. That is downright insane for a single core Skylander, but the fact that she is so dang rare and hard to come by makes her worth it. If I wasn't trying to complete her, and if she wasn't from my favorite game in the series, I probably would not have cared enough to buy her. But now that I have her, and have played on her quite a lot, I like her a lot. It's a shame that more people can't get her. I've seen that SCL has a bunch of brand new in-box Echo figurines, so if you got about $80 to go off and spend, you can go ahead and go over there and buy one for yourself. But this is an amazing figurine, and if you can't afford to get a figurine itself, I do prompt you to purchase an NFC card. That's honestly what I had considered doing for the longest time, but I figured, I'm like, I have all the other figurines, I need to get hers, so that's what I did, and I am not disappointed. She's a very fun character to play as. I love her aesthetic. I love how she just vibes to music. She's a very cutesy character. If you have a girlfriend, a sister, just anybody that you get to actually play with, then I think that they would definitely enjoy it. And I know that me, as a dude, 19-year-old dude, I enjoy her a lot. She's a lot of fun to play as. She's got a great moveset. She's got an interesting design. She's a lot of fun to play with, and that makes for a great Skylander, and it is just a shame that more people don't get to play as her. But that being said, guys, this is going to nearly wrap up all of the figurines that I purchased in December of 2023, this being one of the last Skylanders videos of 2023 until January 1st or 2nd, or whenever I get around to posting the complete collection update. from 2023 into the 2024 year before we go off and get into the chasing of the superchargers with the new year. But before we do that, I would like to draw your attention somewhere else and just forget that these Skylanders are rapidly swarming your location. And I'd like to show you something that is pretty bizarre. This right here. I'm going to pick you up. Hold on. It's a bag of traps. Just a big old bag of traps. It came in the $25 lot. So many traps. There's a chaos trap in there. They got magic traps. All sorts of different traps. I'd already had a trap for each element, but I think by now I got a trap for every villain. That's insane. But with that being said, guys, thank you all so very much for watching to the very end. I really appreciate it. If you guys enjoy my content, I would recommend that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We got a ton of Skylanders, FNAF, Lego, and so very much more content coming to the channel, especially going into the new year. If you guys would like me to customize some Skylanders figurines, I'm going to be holding some community tab posts and polls for you guys to vote in, and maybe even win some Skylanders and or buy some Skylanders from me. I can sign them if you want me to. I can leave them as they are. Really up to you guys. I can sign a piece of paper and you can tape them to the forehead. I don't know. But I am just so thankful that you guys have went off and enjoyed my content. I really have a lot of fun making it for you guys. And just generally, I hope you guys have had a great year, and I hope you have a great year next year. I will see you all on the flip side. Thank you for watching the very end, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.